Rooster 7564, climb and maintain flight level 340.
Hello, I'm Tony, this is FL340, and we're going to set up the Warthog. So, you'll need a HOTAS Warthog throttle, the payware version of Peter Dawson's FSUI PC4 plugin, and a PDF document which is in the description, is linked in the description of the video. I found it on a cockpit building forum, and it includes all the event IDs which we'll need later. Okay, you'll also need a copy of any FSX based simulator. That includes FSX, Dovetail, Steam Edition, and the Lockheed Martin P3D. So any of those simulators, they will work completely fine, as long as you have the FSUI PC, the correct version for it. Right, so the main problem with the Warthog is that it has two-way switches that only register as one switch. So they're only connected to one signal, one button. It's either pressed or it's released. Let me show you what I mean. So here we're spawned in on some runway, and yeah, you can see the landing lights are assigned in FSX to the left engine switch. And as you can see, FSX is only registering the switch in the up position and not in the down position, because we press the button and then we release it, and FSX will only detect the button being pressed, right? So the first thing I suggest you do is use the standard FSX controls to set up the basic buttons and axis on the joystick on the throttle, because what we'll do in FSUI PC, that will only work with the PMDG. And so if you assign a throttle as IDs in the PMDG, the throttle will only work in the PMDG, and that's not really ideal. So we'll go here on Options, Settings, Controls. We'll choose our control axes, we'll choose our throttle. Now the joystick, don't worry with the joystick, just set the joystick up in this interface completely. Don't worry about that. We're just focusing on the throttle because that's where all the two-way switches are. So for throttle, I've set the engine 1 and engine... No, it's not set up, is it? Engine 1, engine 2 throttle right here. That's my two throttles. I have this increase-decrease slider as my spoilers. Then under calibration, choose advanced controls. You want your null zone for your throttles on 0, and for your spoilers also on 0. Sensitivity, you want 75 to 100, so I don't know, somewhere like that. You know, for the spoiler axis, maybe not so much. Right, now about the reverse thrust. As you know, the Thrustmaster, the Warthog here, has a reverse thrust function. You pull up the throttle and push it behind, and it detects it as a button. So you want to find engine controls, engines here, and you want to find throttle decrease quickly, right here. I've already set it up. Now you can only set it to one of the throttles, but that's the only drawback with this, but it'll work with all aircraft, so just choose one of those. Make sure you repeat it, right? So it's like pressing and holding the F2 button down to decrease the throttle, rather than just pressing it once, so you want that repeated. And then you can set up all the other switches you want on here, except for the 2- and 3-way switches. Well, we'll come to those right now. So we'll press OK here, and you want to now open FSUI PC. So let's go now on add-ons up here, FSUI PC. Click on buttons and switches, and this window is where we will set up all our 2-way switches. So I'm going to press a switch. I'm going to switch the engine left into its up position, and it'll detect it. So we'll click on here, select for FS control. We'll choose in the drop down list custom control, and it'll ask you to enter an ID here. And this is the event ID, which you'll find in the PDF linked on the description of this video. So I'm going to go ahead and open the PDF, and as you can see, it's got every single switch had its own ID, every single switch in the cockpit, literally everything, even every button on the MCP, on the FMC. It's brilliant. GPWS control, chronometers, everything. So you can customize it so much, it's really nice. So this document is meant for cockpit builders, but it applies to this just as well. So I'll choose a function, say some light, I don't know, taxi logo light maybe. You choose here the event ID 69754, so we'll enter that. Hit OK. Now we switch it up, right? When we switch it up, we want the light to go on, so we want the parameter of 1. When you switch it down, we want the same switch, 754, same switch, but we want to turn it down or off, so we'll put a parameter of 0. We'll hit the OK button. Let's go in the outside view and see if that worked. Here it is. Okay, so on, off, on, off. See, works perfectly. And you can set any switch you want, right? The landing lights are a bit of an issue. You would just set the guard and it'll turn, you know, all of them on and all of them off. I don't think there are any other issues. One more thing, if you want to set something like, say, the auto brake, about with the parameters, parameter 0 is the leftmost setting on all these switches. Like, you know, if you want to set one of these switches on it for some reason. So that will be parameter 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and parameter 5. So, and that's how that works. But I don't think you're going to be using it for any of those switches. Right, so that's how you set it up. You literally go back in, change it for every single switch that you have and want to set up, and that's that. But keep in mind that the switches will only work for for the PMDG 737. It will only work for that. It won't work for any other add-on planes because they have other offsets and event IDs that they use, so that won't work. But I hope you're able to set up all your buttons. I hope this tutorial helped you. I'll see you again. This is FL340.